Hi, my name is Paul Friedman, founder of the Marriage Foundation. And our approach to marriage is very different from mainstream. I used to be a divorce mediator. That was over 20 years ago, and I shifted my practice so I could help people stay together and solve their problems. Not the outer problems, like this one, which is, what should I do if my wife won't sleep with me? Because believe it or not, that's an outer problem. It's a manifestation, it's a symptom. It's not the problem. Now, it might be for some. That's not who this video is for. This video is for most men who, and there's a lot of men who are experiencing this, and their wife won't sleep with them. And they go, what do I do? You know, I've bought her presents, I've taken care of her, I'm really nice to her. And here is the real deal. This is the real deal. Women are connected to their hearts. And so their reasoning is not as put together as ours, and our heart connection is not as put together as theirs. And this is true because of biology. It's just how it works. Because they're designed to nurture children. We're designed to protect families. So what happens is a woman will, I'm going to get crude here for a second, will mate because she's afraid that she can't have children. She'll mate because she's afraid she won't have a husband. She'll mate in order to secure a future life. It's true. Those things are true. However, when we get married, that's not the plane that we're supposed to have our marriage on. We are supposed to have, because we're human beings, and those are primal things. Those are built in instinctively because we have bodies. But the real deal is that we get married for happiness and for love. That's it. Those are the goals of human beings. Whether we admit it or not, it's what we want, all of us. And it's our birthright. But we're not taught how to be happy, except for, because we live in such a material world, we're taught we're going to be happier if we have more things, more security, more sex. But we don't understand that the truth of the matter is real happiness, contentment, that deep feeling that you have when you're feeling love, you know what I'm talking about? That's what we all want. And we have that experience. Animals don't have this experience. We have that experience when we're operating on the plane of love, which is where our souls are. We are souls. We have a body, we have a mind, but essentially we're souls. So what does this have to do with sex? I'm going to tell you right now. Sex is for animals. And it's for sophisticated, quote unquote, sophisticated people as a means of entertainment, recreational sex. And this is what we have learned. We've learned this from movies and television. Those are the two big teachers for us about love, romance, marriage, and sex, and all of that. And it's incorrect. So here's what's correct. When you get married, the whole thing is about love. The foundation of your marriage should be love. And if it is, and if you are increasing that love in your marriage, and someone recently said, oh, I didn't know you could do that. What a eye-opener that is. But yes, of course you can, because it's voluntary, because you have free will. So if you're continually increasing the love, then the manifestations of love take place naturally, and the manifestations of not knowing what you're doing, like arguing, complaining, speaking at each other as if you're children, or worse, those things disappear. So the whole thing, you could solve this, most of you, if you learn how to love your wife unconditionally. Now, you don't get a gold star when you have learned to love unconditionally. It's not like that. It is an ongoing thing for the rest of your life, because we're constantly fighting our instinctive fears, our mind. Some people literally overcome their minds in one lifetime, but most of us are struggling to do so. But just the effort makes such a huge difference, because it's literally the first time you've ever done anything in your marriage that will really work. Controlling your mind, mastering your mind, for the purpose of opening your heart. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. So you learn to master your mind in order to open your heart, because what's preventing your heart from opening is fear. Every time. It comes up in different forms, but it's fear. And so as you learn to master your mind, to be the lover, as you're doing that, rather than working on, I should do this, I should do that, I shouldn't do this, I shouldn't do that. Those things come, but first step is learning to master your mind. When you do so, then the sex comes naturally, because it's not sex anymore. Now it's just an extension of that love. And trust me, it's way better than any sex you have ever had in your life, period. Way better, because it's transcendent. It's tapping into you as a soul, and it's so beautiful. So that's what we do with our Course for Men, is we go right there. It's the first step where you learn how to master your mind. Isn't that crazy? And yet, that's why we've been so successful for over 20 years now, is because we focus on the first step is learning to master your mind, because you're half of the marriage. And when you start doing what's right, your influence is much greater than 50%. And you could turn this around. I've seen it happen many, many times. Many, many times. So try to understand that. It'll become more clear if you subscribe and you start listening to other videos and you start getting a feel for what I'm talking about, because the way we approach marriage at the Marriage Foundation is completely different from mainstream. So it takes some time to sort of assimilate this whole notion of marriage being what it is. Because in the world, you know, love is discussed as an increased like, which is preposterous. Love is its own thing. Just because you can't quantify it, touch it with your senses, doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It is not, as the therapists like to call it, an abstract thought or emotion. It's way deep. I hope this helped you. I'm Paul Friedman. I founded the Marriage Foundation. I hope you join us again so you can learn about marriage, learn and apply, learn and apply. That's what it's all about. Thank you. Take care and God bless.